Hey everyone, nice to see you again today. And as you know, I'm going to be doing a revenue distribution video on Fancy Games and the Fancy Birds game and how much it could net you over the next 12 months in rewards. Now, I'm not going to be talking about staking rewards in this video. That will be for an upcoming video, but I will discuss the breeding and the Genesis sale and just how much that can give you for doing nothing at all but staking your tokens. You're definitely going to want to check this out. And as always, welcome back. I am Scoriox, where I love to run the numbers and you guys do the degen. And as always, I'm not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice. And please always do your own research. Let's jump into it. Okay, so today's video is going to be really interesting, and a lot of this information and data is quite speculative at the moment, and then my next video will definitely be an update and will most likely happen after the game's launch and after we have more information, especially around revenue distribution. So at the moment, it is unconfirmed if the revenue you earn from staking your tokens comes to you locked or unlocked. In the case of Illuvium, it is unlocked as of this moment. That could change in the future with proposals and things, but we do not know if that works the same for Fancy Birds. Now, I hope it does, but it wouldn't be so bad if it didn't. And as I'm saying, we don't quite know yet, and I'll definitely be updating that in the future. So if you guys want to make sure you catch that information, please hit the bell down below after you subscribe. Don't forget to like the video so lots more people can see it and we can get heaps more people into the Fancy Birds ecosystem, because the more people you have enjoying this game, then these numbers just all go up. You guys know that from my previous videos. So there is also an article coming soon about the revenue distribution, and I'll definitely try and cover that if I have the chance as well. But don't forget to jump into their Discord and have a look at it. And that's where you'll get all your new information. And as always, I'm a part of the Shiny Shards Guild, so if you want to communicate with me a bit better, just jump into that guild. I'm most active there. It is so much fun. The Discord is down in the description below. So, what is revenue distribution? Now, I know a lot of you guys know this already, but I'm just going to re-explain it in simple terms for all those that are new and all those that are new to Fancy Birds as well, because it might be quite a different audience. But simply put, if you take the case of League of Legends, right? Any revenue that they earn, basically a player goes and buys a League of Legends skin and Riot earns $20 for having said skin. They spend it on whatever, unimportant. They earned $20 for said skin. Probably one of the expensive ones like Elementalist Lux or something. In the case of something like Fancy Birds and Illuvium, of course, any money you spend on the game isn't given to Fancy Games. Fancy Games holds tokens and that's their incentive, but it is actually given to all the staking token holders. Now, one bit of information I do not know, and it might be public knowledge, but I haven't been able to find it, is whether the team's tokens, like in Illuvium, are counted for revenue distribution. So for my calculations today, I have not included them, but they can change some of these numbers quite drastically. So definitely keep that into consideration when you're watching this video. Because if they have the same amount of tokens as everyone else, then essentially your revenue distribution is halved because they are receiving half of it. Those staked tokens, which are just tokens held by the team. It can be disproportionate at times, but then again, they are making the game. And as something like this scales, it works out better for everyone that isn't in the team, but they benefit more from the token price going up and the overall success of the game. So really, I do quite like these tokenomics, and it's probably one of the reasons I've made a channel dedicated to this sort of topic, because it's so interesting to look into and so interesting from a company, employee, and player perspective. And I'm very eager to see where it goes next and if other companies adopt this system into their own games, existing or otherwise. Because I think if people could have a stake in, say, Riot Games, then it would be very different. The sentiment would be so different as well. Imagine you having a stake in the game, maybe you'd be less toxic. A little dig right there. All right, so let's jump on into it. I know that's what you guys are here for. Here we go. Here's the information I've whipped up today. All right, so I'm going to cover this part by part, so please bear with me. There's a few things I want to check out. All right, so firstly, I'm going to have a look at the variables here. Now, I have the SFNC spend, which, to quickly explain that, like in Illuvium, there is another token called SFNC, and people have the option to claim their revenue as SFNC. Now, the big difference with Fancy Birds is they're not able to claim this token until the game has been launched. So we don't really know how many people are planning on claiming this token, how many people are planning on spending it, stockpiling it. We don't have any of that information. I've set it for 80% and I'll adjust that in a second. But just know that this drastically affects it, because anything that is spent on affects revenue distribution down the road. But in the short term, it impacts how much people receive, because they'll only receive rewards based on people spending Ethereum, not this token. This token just burns tokens out of the supply, which is really great long term, but it is going to impact short term rewards. So definitely keep that in mind. The next thing I want to look at is how the breeding system actually works, because this is quite important to how this whole thing functions. Is basically there are 8,888 Genesis birds. That is always a mouthful. And they're allowed to breed 4 times every month. Obviously, each pair is allowed to breed 4 times. So essentially, the amount of birds entering the ecosystem each month is just double the Genesis. And only the Genesis birds can breed at this time. So this 17,776, until they adjust this system, personally I love this system, but we'll have to see how it works out. Until they adjust this system, that is how many birds will enter each month for the foreseeable future. And this makes it really easy to kind of predict some of these figures, barring things like cosmetics and such. But I don't know if I'll be spending money on that. Maybe they'll add to the game or the earning mechanics. I have no idea. Okay, so I've also got the tokens and things. You don't need to really worry about that. That's just kind of how I've calculated my numbers. What's only really important is that the total amount of FNC staked at this moment is 42 million. It seems like a lot, but it's got quite a high max supply. I don't have the max supply on me, so you're going to have to just trust me on that one. But barely any of the tokens have been released, because they're being released mostly in staking rewards. And in-game rewards. So it's going to be quite an interesting dynamic. The token price, I don't know how it will go. It will base on the overall crypto markets and how people receive the game. So I'm not really going to delve into that either. But I'll definitely talk about it in future videos. And if you want to see stuff like that, then please leave a comment down below letting me know. I always love seeing the comments and reading them all. They're also awesome, especially the questions. I get a great kick out of answering them all. All right. So how much revenue distribution might someone get from the Genesis sale? Let's just have a look, all right? So if we jump over the left here, you've got currently the Genesis sale. It will be 0.06 Ethereum per bird. Now this is confirmed. I doubt this will change. If it does, I'd be really shocked. But it will be about $150 per bird to buy one, okay? Simply put. And the total revenue from that would be 1.5 million, meaning you get about 3.5 cents per token. A 9% return on investment on the current FNC staking environment. Now, I don't know how many tokens I have, maybe 300 or something like that. So I would probably be earning like $30 from this overall sale, not much at all. I probably even got that wrong. I need my calculators. But here's the more interesting thing I definitely want to discuss. So here's the breeding revenue. Now the monthly revenue doesn't seem all that great. But when you start to look at the annual revenue, you're looking really, really interesting. Now, let's say only 30% of people spend FNC purchasing, breeding their fancy birds. Maybe they like claiming FNC because it gives them more Revdis instead of SFNC. I don't know what their reasoning is, but let's put that into a hypothetical and talk about that for a second. So we've got this information right here, and we've got the annual revenue, because every time the birds are minted, it's about 1.5 million. Also, this isn't keeping into consideration market fees and things because they would earn from that, but that's a whole other kettle of fish and probably wouldn't be very comparable to these sorts of figures in themselves, although it wouldn't have an SFNC variable inside it. So it might be interesting to look at it down the road. And the annual revenue for that would be 18 million. A lot less than a lot of my predictions for Illuvium. That's because it's a very different ecosystem. Also, this is just one of their games. They might have 2 or 3 out over the next 12 months. We don't know. But it's about 18 million in annual revenue. And what this means is you'd get 0.42 tokens every single year. 0.4 cents every year per token. Now, you can currently buy a token for 38 cents. All right. So what that leaves you with is if you bought tokens right now and staked them right now, based on a $120 breeding cost, I took that off of some of Axie's, not peak numbers, but somewhere around the middle. That's where a lot of their breeding was. And I know Zed Run has some really similar fees to that. That's why I'm calling that my conservative cost. But based on that sort of cost per bird, then you're looking at about 100% ROI if you bought tokens right now. That ROI changes with the FNC price, but the USD value does not change depending on how many tokens you have. So that is how much it would be based on if you bought tokens right now. Double the breeding cost and then double it again, and you're looking at 200 to 400% ROI as well. That can be quite lucrative if this project does really well, and then you have all the other earning factors that I haven't really looked at yet, but I'll definitely be going into in the future. So I hope this was really helpful. There's some really interesting figures here, and I'm excited to see what happens. Again, please subscribe down below if you want to see more updates on this sort of content, and let me know if you like my Fancy Birds content or if you're not really a huge fan of it. They've copied the tokenomics of Illuvium, so I really like to investigate it and look into it. I'm going to be doing the research anyway, so I might as well help you guys out as well with some of my figures that I'm running. All right, I hope you guys really enjoyed the video. I loved making this one. I've been meaning to look at these numbers for a while, and I'm glad I did. It's going to be an interesting time, and the sale is only like a week and a bit away, so we're going to learn so much so soon. Hey everyone, thanks for watching the video. I hope that you'll watch that next video up in the top right hand corner, or don't, but I really do appreciate it. Please like and subscribe down below, and I'll catch you all in the next one.